Directed by Durkin and starring Zac Efron, The Iron Claw tells the story of the Von Erich brothers who made wrestling history in the 1980s. This film is excellent. Extremely depressing, but very excellent. No, I had a great time watching this. I think Zac Efron's performance was incredible. I thought the direction was incredible. The cinematography was incredible. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's back up a little bit, talk about what makes this movie so great. So, first and foremost, this isn't really a wrestling movie. Like, it is. There's matches featured in the film. There's historical matches that, if you remember the World Wrestling Federation, you'll probably remember some of them. There is a peek behind the curtain a little bit on how wrestling works, but don't go in expecting something along the lines of fighting with my family. This is a very gritty and tragic story about a historic wrestling family and all of the psychological damage, trauma, and hardships that went along with that journey. But yes, this film is excellent. It does a great job of grabbing your attention right at the beginning and keeping it through the entirety of the runtime. Over the course of the film, you become deeply invested in all of the Von Erich brothers, but especially Kevin Von Erich, played by Zac Efron. Zac Efron was incredible in this movie. This is honestly one of the best roles I've seen him in. You really get to see a wide variety of emotions from Zac Efron in this film, from the highest highs to the lowest lows. His range is just incredible, and he really, really shines in this movie. I don't want to get into spoilers, even though this is based on a true story, but I could certainly see elements of this film, particularly toward the end, being very triggering for certain people who have been through similar experiences in their lifetime. Because this movie does not shy away from gritty, dark, at all. However, in my opinion, it's here where the film really shines. It doesn't shy away from difficult subject matter, it embraces it and really makes that the heart of this film. And it tells its story in a very tragically beautiful way, which actually brings me to one of my absolute highlights of the film, the cinematography. This movie is gorgeous. It really dives into that visual storytelling aspect of filmmaking, which granted is something we've come to expect from A24 films, but I feel like even with that expectation, this movie just elevates it and gets really creative with its storytelling visually, and I can't praise it enough for that. It was stunning. As for negatives, I don't really have any issues with this movie. Granted, the pacing could be a little slow at points, especially toward the start of the film, but this is an art house movie. It's not going to follow traditional three-act structure, which is probably going to lead to certain moments feeling a little bit slower. But I think the payoff is really worth it, which is why I have trouble counting it as a negative. You really get to take so much time with every single one of the brothers. Yes, Zac Efron as Kevin Von Erich is the focal point, and you do spend the vast majority of time with him. But because it doesn't follow that structure, and it takes its time to be a little slower at points, you really get to know each of the brothers very, very well, which makes the payoff, in my opinion, completely worth it. There's even small details that I didn't super focus on at the start of the movie. Like, you noticed it, but it didn't seem that important yet because, well, we're still setting up. We're still just getting to know these people. But by the end, there's all these small detail callbacks to these things that were established at the start, and that really impressed me. I thought, from a visual standpoint, character standpoint, it was really a really well-told story. And the pacing really didn't bother me. Yeah, it's a little bit slower than a three-act structure movie, but I think it's really worth it, and I can't count that as a true negative. This was my first movie of 2024, and it did not disappoint. I thought the movie was engaging, thought-provoking, and did a wonderful job of telling its truly heartbreaking story, and getting across some of those darker, grittier themes. One I really loved around mental health. I thought that was executed very well. I'm giving The Iron Claw a 9 out of 10. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of Iron Claw, or what your favorite wrestling movie is. Subscribe for more reviews very soon. Until then, so long, friends.